And speaking of the highway, I can't believe after worship, we had one big line of the kids, took them out of worship. I took them out of the sanctuary, so to speak, worship center, on the sidewalk by the highway and all the way there. I would never do that now.
Welcome back to our I Didn't Sign Up for This podcast. Today I have some special guests who's become to be my co-host, Scott Davis.
Okay.
And Miss Sharon, who runs our kids area. She's our kids director and also my mother-in-law, so she's family. And we're going to talk about kids ministry today. And this podcast is I Didn't Sign Up for This. And, I tell the story about you, Miss Sharon, because I said this in one of the podcasts that, you were playing piano for us when we first started the church. And I remember one night we were up there late one Sunday night, might have been, who knows what it was, and I said, I really need you to pick, if you could pick one or the other, like what would it be? And I expect you to say piano, because I would have picked piano. I would have picked keys. And you didn't even hesitate. You said kids. And it was
and we're thankful.
Yeah. Very thankful
I am
for
too.
it.
I love there. I love being there.
But you have, you've been working with kids
for a long time.
A long time.
Yeah.
You guys had a daycare.
Yeah. Mom and I had a daycare.
When did y'all start that?
Oh, wow. I don't know. I think our last year was in the middle 80s. So it was, and we were open 19 years maybe, something like that.
Well, y'all were open when we moved here in 95 and y'all were still open. Well, the one by your mom and dad's
maybe
house.
I'm thinking that's when we started.
Yeah,
was
in the
85.
80s.
Yeah.
So you've been working with kids for a long time.
While.
So we're excited about what our kids department is doing. A lot of new stuff's happening back there. It didn't start that way. We were just talking about, we were just trying to remember all the things that we didn't do. Apparently we sent the kids to the woods to play at one point.
We did. We did. The first time and the last time that we went and got in ground bees. So that was a big experience.
I remember going up to that, finding that hole. It's just one little hole in the ground. I poured gasoline on it. And I was going to light it on fire, but I didn't have to because the whole thing caved in. And I mean, there's probably hundreds of
It was horrible.
It
was horrible.
Jay got stung like 22 times.
Oh, yeah. 22 times. Yeah.
And my niece got stung 22 times. She was, I don't know, 10 or something. Oh, man.
Oh,
so we've done it. Well, our option was let them play in the highway or let them play in the woods. We didn't have a lot of options over there.
And speaking of the highway, I can't believe after worship, we had one big line of the kids, took them out of worship. I took them out of the sanctuary, so to speak, worship center, on the sidewalk by the highway and all the way there. I would never do that now. I just would never do that.
Do what you got to do.
Do what you have to do.
That's right. Yeah. That's right. And that was before we moved a little closer to where we didn't have to. Of course, by then, I don't think we were having them in the worship service. I think we were doing the whole hour. We had the curriculum back then.
Yeah.
By then.
And that was one thing we used to do. We didn't have enough team members to have a full, we just felt like we were draining them to do the whole hour. And so they would come to worship with us, which a lot of churches still do that. And I think it's special.
Yeah.
They would come to worship, and then after worship, they would slip out and go walk down the highway. Not really. It wasn't really. We didn't do that to your kids, okay? But we look back now and go, man, how did we even make that work?
Yeah, but it did.
Yeah.
It did.
I mean, again, we started with 40 people, as a church. Yeah. So it's like, one service. So it wasn't worship one, serve one. If you served in kids, you didn't get the opportunity to go to church.
Yeah, that's true.
And we had so few people that it was kind of the same people serving in kids every Sunday.
All the time. Yeah. So we did that.
And we used that space way down there. That ended up being our office. We did that for a while. I don't know if y'all remember that, but it was one big room.
Little.
It was little. We were having to change diapers in a closet, which was fun. I remember one Sunday, Kara, Jimmy and Kara were serving in there, or she was, and I walked in there everything was over and they were kind of wrapping up, and it was like 80 degrees in there. And I was like, what? Was something wrong with the AC? She's like, I didn't know if I could turn it on or not. I'm like, turn it on. And so small area, hot, and it was not ideal, okay? It just wasn't ideal. But we made it work.
But even at that time, even though it wasn't ideal, that space was a blessing to us, because when we first started, we had one big room, the worship center, and we could fit 144 seats in it. We didn't need it at the time, and we were thinking about creating kind of a nook, a room in a room that the kids would
For
go
the
in
kids,
because we had so few people that were coming on a Sunday morning that could have potentially worked. And then, thank God that we didn't have to go that route, that we actually found, another space in that strip mall available to lease for kids space. So, wow.
There's a lot of changes in that long strip mall. When we were there, a lot of changes, and they were good.
Yeah, we were constantly just, we'd add this space, and then that would turn into office. Then we got the hub, and so we gave up that office space, and we were, I may not know this, but we were leasing that space was a flooring company. And so they had turpentine, and they had stain, and all that was out. And so we would have to go in there early Sunday or on Saturday. Amy and I would go up there, and we would kind of like put all that stuff in the back, kind of cover it, and then have to get it back out after. And so we'd have to keep your kids out of turpentine. So you're welcome. But you did what you had to do. It was like what other option do we have? And so I can't even imagine trying to have church with kids in that same space, a 50 by 50 room. All right. And of course, we look back now, God's blessed us with a bigger space and
we have
bigger
room
kids.
to be loud. We have room to run around playing games. It's so good. And not worry about worship center, if anybody can hear us. So every once in a while, y'all hear us. But
we don't even have real walls. I call them Les Nessman walls right now, if you ever watch WKRP, but we don't even have real walls, and it's still working. You can hear when somebody opens the door to get their kid or something in the middle of a service. Yeah. But it's just, I love that, man. That's life. There's life. And now, take your kids to kids' church, but we do love to... I have people that come in. They just, there's so many kids, so many young families here, and there's just life to it, and we love that. And so, yes, they can be a distraction, but man, they're a blessing. And so it's so cool to see. We've grown a lot. I look back at thinking through your kids and my kids. Kai was 10 or something when we started the church, or younger. He was he would have been about 7 or 8, I guess. And so he was part of that. And now you see he's on stage helping lead.
Yes.
And, your kids went through it. And so many of these kids that started out in our kids' church are now helping lead teams and lead small groups. And it's amazing. It's amazing to see that.
They leave us when they finish 5th grade, sorry. And then they go to growth track so they can come back and be in kids again. And that's cool too. And we use them. Yeah. They're good.
Yeah, we call them helpers. They're the helpers. Do you see it?
They're vital.
Do you see not a concern, but is there a little bit of headache with the 8? Like you were just in here last year, now you're in here leading. Is that something that is a barrier, or does it cause problems for having a kid that's so young that just was in there just
to come back as a server?
Right.
No, because you have challenges, but you find a place for them. Like some we have just for computer. They can do the computer, and we need that. So we don't have to run back and forth. And I'm talking just kindergarten through 5th. And the other rooms, they clean up, they look after the kids, they do the snacks. You have to find a place for them. And when you do, and we're not just finding a place for them, we're really finding a place for them to serve. We need that. So it's good.
And you see, so yesterday Parker wanted me to bring her to check in and get her to the kids' space. And so that's my granddaughter. So I'm bringing her down there. And so I tried to give her off to her mom or somebody. It was like, no, she wasn't having it. So I had to check her in, which was, it was awesome as a grandparent to go through that process and see how fast the system is. And they were very, welcoming. And so anyway, when I got her to the pre-K door, there was a young servant in there. And she's, I don't know, probably 7th grade. And amazing. And just the way they welcomed them and they were excited to see her, and she was excited to see them, and you hand them over, and your heart smiles when you see that this isn't just babysitting. These kids are learning something.
And when you as a parent know that your child or grandchild know the person behind those doors, that makes a big deal. There's been a connection made already, which is good. That's what we want.
Yeah, go ahead.
I love our culture of serving, and Danny Morgan talked about this in our last podcast. Is there's an expectation to serve, and I love that even our students, after, in middle school and high school, get an opportunity to serve. And they want to do it. They're excited about going through Growth Track and finding a spot. And we were talking this morning about I served with 2 younger people in 2-year-olds yesterday, and how much of a help they were. And really, there was a moment where I kind of sat back and they just took the lead on a number of things. So. And again, like you said, it's not babysitting; it's pouring truth. It's, hey, the Bible says this,
Yes.
And now our children are as young as 3, 4 years old are repeating Bible verses.
Yeah.
So it's so cool to see.
Yeah, it's awesome.
It is.
Yeah, I didn't hear the whole story from my office this morning. Apparently, something funny happened to the 2-year-olds yesterday. Or I missed something. I don't know. Y'all were.
Oh, we had 9 2-year-olds in the 9:15 service.
Yeah.
So that was
One girl.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. 8 boys, 1 girl.
Oh, that's
Oh,
rough.
wow.
Yeah.
So y'all had like wrestling matches, or
No, they were great. I mean, you got a couple of bulls in there, that you got to be firm with. And hey, we don't do that, but they're great. It's they're a blessing. I was thinking about this, and I think we told this story in one of the podcasts, but a few years ago, a brother in Christ that I know goes to a different church, and he was leaving that church and looking for their next church as a family. And I remember him making the statement, of all the churches that they're going to, where are the young families? And
Wow.
the churches that he was visiting, they didn't have the young families.
Yeah.
They didn't have these younger kids. And man, you got to come visit WRC. We got 9 2-year-olds in one service.
We have a traffic jam when they pick them up after services.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It's awesome
so
to
many.
see.
Yeah.
It's awesome to see so many young families having their kids and, being intentional raising their kids, saying church is a priority. We're going to be here every week. And we get to pour the word into them. So,
yeah. And we were just talking about that. We switched curriculum for our kids just recently, and our team members are loving it. The kids are loving it. My grandkids are quoting scripture. I mean, Judas too, he's quoting the scripture, which is awesome. And so we were just talking about that. Some of our curriculum, if you will get your kids here every Sunday for 3 years, they'll have been taught the entire Bible.
Yes.
I mean,
Yeah.
not every verse, but the entirety of the Bible. And so if you get them for all 6 years from kindergarten to 5th grade, then they'll have been taught it twice.
Twice. Yeah.
Wow.
That's so good.
Isn't that amazing?
that's huge.
Yeah.
That's huge. As a parent, I want to be intentional about my children knowing, the book of John, or I think it's in 3 John, says, I have no greater joy than to know my children are walking in truth. And if you want your children to walk in truth, get them to church,
Come
make
here,
church a
come.
priority so that when they
Yes.
graduate, they will make church a priority.
Yeah.
And teach them the word of God. If you'll bring your kids to WRC Kids and pre-K and our 2-year-olds, they will be prayed over every single week, and they'll be loved on, and they'll be pointed to the truth.
And that will be their culture. That will be what they expect. And that's what we've seen. They come back, they serve in the same place that they grew up in, so to speak, even though they get to be the teacher or be the leader instead of being poured into, they get to pour into them.
Yeah.
And then they go on to, we've lost a lot of them. They've gone on to other churches, or they've gone on to other areas here, which is great. It's fine. They were good while they were, we loved them while they were here, but they see other opportunities. Hey, I could do this. I work in kids. I can do this too, So.
Yeah, it's huge. And, that's such an important connection, that they're raised up in it and then they come back. And we've talked about this with like leading a life group. You become a great student when you have to be a teacher.
Yeah.
And so when if they take it serious, and I know some 6th, 7th, 8th graders take it very serious
Taking it
back
seriously,
there.
yes.
And they're learning the curriculum, and they really want to teach well, and they want to be organized. And we were talking about one of our young leaders yesterday, and she's 6th or 7th grade, and she comes in before huddle even happens and starts organizing the tables
She
and getting
sure
everything.
did, yeah.
I mean, come on. That's what we're looking for. And
That's
so we love to see it. And come on, you're going to have the rambunctious. You're going to have the ones that come back just to throw the football
Just to
with
be
the
there.
kids.
Yeah, but that's okay too.
That's fine. Yeah.
Playtime is important. I told someone that this morning. She was giving me a win. She said, playtime went so good, but you know me, I like playtime. I said, hey, that's important. We like playtime.
Yeah.
So,
It's connection.
yes, it is.
Connection's important.
So
Yeah. And we talk about this. You mentioned this on the last podcast. It's our 4 core values back there: love God, love people, do your best, and have fun.
yeah,
And so we want to have that safe, fun, and clean environment for them
Yes.
to learn
Yeah.
about the Lord. And, I get a debrief from Amy as we drive home every single Sunday, and a lot of it's good, 80% good, 20% is like, oh, we got to work on this,
yeah,
but mostly really, really good stuff. But some of the wins that she'll share with me sometimes is like, this is a win because this person hasn't brought their baby yet, and today they brought their baby and dropped them off in nursery.
yes.
And that's the kind of stuff. So every soul, every baby matters. This is not, we don't lump them in a group and go, well, we'll figure this thing out. No, every single one of them have a soul. In fact, the sheet that we count people with in the worship center is a soul count sheet, not a head count sheet. So we're counting their souls, and so that's why we're pouring into them. That's why it's so important. There are some challenges. What are some of the challenges that you've seen? You become director now for the last 3 or 4 months, 5 months. What are some challenges that you see leading your over check-in 2-year-olds, pre-K kids, and nursery?
There's the regular. Maybe I'm putting them as challenges. They may not be. It's just part of it, where you try to find your leaders. Your key leaders in every area. Your team captains, your coaches, things like that. You're always putting our culture before them, so they can put it before their team, their dream team.
Yeah.
You're always going to be there. You're not just an overseer. You're going to serve with them. You carry it and you bring it with you to bring it down. And that is a challenge. Another challenge is, like you were saying, some of the students have come there so this student can talk to this student, during that hour. And that's how they are. Yesterday we had that with 2 of the helpers that we had. And it was okay because whenever they needed to do something, they'd stop and do it. They may have had to have been directed to do that, but they're not doing it. Oh, okay. They're fine with it. Just tell me what to do.
Yeah.
And that's the stage they're in. But that's kind of a challenge. I don't know. The other thing is to find places for others. You don't want them to feel like they're not needed, especially students, because they're still gaining self-confidence as a whole. Some of them have a lot of self-confidence.
A little too much.
Yeah. So it's okay. But yeah, you direct. And I guess that's just an ongoing thing that you do.
Yeah.
It's not bad. We've had a couple of hiccups where you have those hard talks, but that's part of it too. And we're not flooded with them. Mostly they are there to serve. They are there because that's where they found their gifts are, which is wonderful. Now, there are some that are there because mom and dad are serving and they want them there too. That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. We'll use you. We do. We use you at cleanup time. We use you in the small groups. One big win with the Highlands for the Highlands curriculum, kindergarten through 5th, is they don't do a lot of crafts, even though the curriculum we had was wonderful. Every craft pointed to the main truth that we were doing, but they are having to ask them questions. That's what they mainly do now, which is good because it gets them to talk. Plus, I had gotten a win by one of the coaches. She said, the 4th and 5th grade boys are finally admitting they like it a little bit.
Yeah, that's a big deal.
That is a big deal.
Yeah.
And I said, well, it's because they get to say how they feel, and however they feel is okay. It's not wrong or right. And someone's listening.
Yeah.
And that's a big part of it. So
that's huge. That's a big deal, is that they feel seen.
Yes.
And because they are seen, they matter. And you're going to have the ones that come through and they're a little bit of headache to their parents and they don't listen, and they come in expecting that same kind of just abrupt,
just hang out here.
And so I think that just takes time. That's why I bring your kids every single week, because it takes time. It's a process. It's like if you bring them once a month, we're just not going to have breakthrough like we can if they bring them every week. It's just like life group. The more you're in it, the more you trust them, the more you're gonna open up. And so that's so crucial and so vital for us to understand that, especially as parents. So, so walk through, just a regular, because I think most of our parents, maybe they have an idea, definitely ones that don't serve back there. What does a typical Sunday look like in kids and pre-K, if it's similar, that, from kind of beginning to end, they start with worship? Do they start with the message? What does that look like?
All three of the groups, not nursery, but all three of the groups from 2-year-olds through the 5th grade, they start with, it's called early arriver.
Mm-hmm.
You just play. You play, you talk. If you want to do Play-Doh, that's fine. This is the younger ones. There are card games and board games, things to play that the students and adults get with them and play that before time starts. And then
and that's all about connection, right?
it is.
And that's something that you said, if, and this is true for all of our teams. If you hand somebody a cup of coffee and you didn't connect with them, then that's not a win.
Right.
Connection is the win. And I love that, that takes place even in our kids area. I'm going to play a game with you, and I'm just going to let you know by me spending time with you and giving you my attention that you matter.
Yes.
And you matter to Jesus.
Yes.
I love that.
That is my biggest thing, is the first thing I want to have accomplished, so to speak, in a kid's life is that they feel wanted when they go in.
Amen.
They feel looked at when
True.
they go in. And if they belong, then the doors will open for other conversations,
Yeah.
for other times, or just laughter, just to be happy and have fun with them. But after that time, the younger groups have a song that comes on for cleaning up the toys. In the kindergarten through 5th, we just say, time to clean up, it's starting. So they do. And then most of them do. And then they start off with the video of the story. Well, no, they don't either. They have the worship songs,
Okay.
which is on the video. We all do worship songs first, and then it goes into the video. The older children, it's a little bit different because the curriculum's a little different. The 2s through the 5-year-olds have a curriculum video, 20-something minutes long, with everything in it: the songs, the story, the little fun things that they get to pull out of the messenger bag, those things, and then after that, you get to teach them one-on-one, and then you do the color sheet. The older kids have the worship songs, and then we go into the video. It stops. It has places to stop
that's good.
during that video where you talk to your group. And they sit according to age on certain carpets. And
So they're sitting in their small group
they're
while they're
sitting
watching
in their
it.
small groups, yeah. And the leaders are with them. And they've got the questions to ask. It's all written down, what you need to ask them. And just discuss while a timer's on. And then it'll start for the second video. And that's how they learn it, which is wonderful to break in there and not have to listen to the whole thing.
And we tried to do it that way with the other curriculum, and it just wasn't conducive to it. So this curriculum actually is built to watch it and talk about it, and watch it and talk about it.
Yeah, right while you're watching it, which is so good. So, and then after that, you have one more break. It's 2 or 3 breaks, depending on the week. And then they go to their small group tables in that older group. And we have prayer cards for them. They put their prayers up on the wall, and then they talk. They just talk in their group and pray. And that's it. So and
that takes up about an hour.
Yeah, it takes up about an hour, 50 minutes. So they seem to be enjoying it a lot. The teachers are loving it.
Good.
Across the board in both curriculums.
Yeah.
So I'm so glad we changed. Nobody wanted to. It's like, what
Yeah.
are we going to do? And then now it's like, oh yeah, this is working.
Yeah.
If it's not broke, fix it anyway.
Yeah,
And-
there
and
you
we
go.
did. And we did. And you talked about some of the challenges in kids ministry, and one of those challenges, being that we have more spots available on some teams than people,
Right.
volunteering to be part of that dream team. And we talked about this in another podcast, but I think one of the things that makes that a reality is the unknown. And I love that we just gave people a vision of what kids ministry looks like. It's not scary.
No.
It's fun, and you don't have to try to fill an hour with Bible knowledge. Let me think about what the Bible says so
What
that
am
I
I
can
gonna be
teach you.
saying?
It's just
No,
watch
no,
the
no,
video,
no.
and then you talk about those truths and
Yeah.
those principles, and so you make it real.
Yep.
That's so huge. One of the things that you said, I love your vision for, and that is I want them to feel needed and to be seen, which is not our culture today. Our culture is don't look at me, I won't look at you.
Oh, yeah.
I'll look at my phone. You sit in the doctor's office, and it was just a time to connect to people or read a magazine or something. And now it's just like, let me look at my phone. And people do that now just to avoid people.
Yeah.
And that's one thing that we push really hard in our behind the kids wall is put your phones up. You can do that later. We're not doing that. We're connecting. We're worship, connect, serve, and that's our process here. And so we want you to connect to the people. And so, do you run in that with some of your younger leaders and even some adults? Like it's just a habit. And
yeah, it just is.
I don't think we've gone to making them stack them on a
We
table
haven't
somewhere.
needed to, no. But every once in a while, someone just will not put it up or can't.
Addicted.
Yeah. And you just keep reminding them. Mm-hmm. So. Yeah, I came across that yesterday too. I said, guys, put your phones up.
Mm-hmm.
And they did.
Yeah.
No problem.
But that's part of coaching. Every person that leads a team in a ministry, we call them a coach. And coach is coach, right?
Yeah.
If you're on a baseball team, and Sam Houston and just made the state champs, and in baseball, the Westlake, they are also state champs. Those kids are on a team, and they know some basics of baseball. They've been playing it a while, but there's refinement, that happens. And so, our leaders of those teams are coaches, and they do a great job of coaching. It's something that I've heard you say a lot is vision leaks, right? So just, continually saying, this is our culture, this is what we do, and then exemplifying that, being the example.
Being there, always being there and doing it. Yeah.
And that vision creates a culture. I think, I'm not sure what I'm preaching on Sunday exactly. I think it's going to be on honor, because I don't think we talk about honor enough, but honor builds a culture. And I think it's when we have that, we're going to connect to people as a culture. Then it starts permeating through. Now, if you create that culture strong enough, now other team members are going, hey, it's not time for that right now. And that's the great thing about culture is now you have people on a level, quote unquote, lower than you, helping you lead because they get it and they understand it.
They know why.
And that's right. They know why. So if you are a leader of any of our teams and you have team members that are playing with their phone or messing with, like we can do that later. Like you said, we can have a great this is the greatest free cup of coffee you'll get right here. But if you don't smile and connect with them, if it's just about we missed it. Like we'll shut the cafe down. That's not why we have the cafe. It has nothing to do with coffee and everything to do with connection. Yeah. And I love that about our kids. I love about check-in. Some of our team have checked in baby dolls before. And so that's us showing the kids we see
job.
you.
This week it was a great job too. I'd heard some shout outs about leading the parent to the rooms and one parent not knowing, should I go ahead and leave my child here, because they weren't having it. And someone stepped in, it was Bobby, stepped in and said, oh yeah, let's calm the baby down and everything. And he got to go to worship. Yeah. He got to experience Jesus, which is what we are there for.
That's right. And that's the whole goal. And what's cool is, we've talked about Bobby a lot. Bobby has found her purpose.
Yeah. And passion is met. Her purpose is something like that. Passion and purpose, they met. Okay.
Yeah. And purpose is what you're good at and what you love to do. That's your purpose, that intersection. And if you're not good at it, you probably shouldn't be doing it. And if you don't love it, you probably shouldn't be doing it. You're gonna have to do some things you don't love. But Brent Fontenot is a great example. We have
baby whisperer,
but he helped create a culture of it's okay for they don't change diapers. Men don't change diapers in the nursery, but we do have some men leaders back there that just love to rock a baby to sleep. And Brent kind of helped us set that culture a little bit, and it was okay for him to be weird for him to be in there for a minute, and now it's become a little bit of a culture thing. And we do a lot of background checks, so it ain't
and
weird.
Babies were drawn to him.
I mean, and I said that because yesterday Brent's been helping us on drums because we're needing some help in worship and giving Todd a break playing drums. But so I believe he stepped out of nursery. I don't know if it's permanent, but he's not as there as much. But Judah, my grandson, just sees Brent in the comments just like, Mr. Brent, because he had Judah in the nursery a year ago or whatever it was. And so that connection that we're building, this is bigger than you bringing your kids to nursery or kids. We're building connections that we pray last a lifetime. I mean, I see kids running around in here and I'm just like, I can see them as teenagers going to school together, hanging out together, because we're building something bigger than the moment shows.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Yeah.
And so it's huge. And that's from greeting them at the door, to the cafe, to check in, to worship.
Just going back to men serving in kids areas and in a nursery, we have 3 men that serve in nursery. And I think culture says that's that's a female role for whatever reason. And the guys that serve in nursery, they do a fantastic job. And they're masculine men. They're people in construction and refineries, and yet they'll serve in there. And I remember one of our guys, you ask him, "Hey, how's it going?" He said, "This is the best hour of my week." They love kids and they love being in there. And the kids, the cool thing is how the kids respond to them, especially in the older areas, that kindergarten through 5th grade. They're drawn to them. They pay attention, and the room feels different when there's a guy serving in the kids area. It's more calm. I mean, would you say that?
I would say that, and it's not because they raise their voices. It's just what they say. They listen. The kids will listen. Yeah. I mean, we had Sean, and he was very soft-spoken. Shane is so out there, and he's not loud, but he's happy and busy, and they love him. Troy is more quiet. They listen to him. It's just something about men being in there. They listen to you when you come in.
Yeah, they do.
So it's just, it is there. They do know from men, I'm going to listen. They don't even know why, but they do.
It's God created it that way. I mean, a household that has the father as the head of the household and the living in the household is just a healthier. Now, obviously, it could be unhealthy if the man's unhealthy, but it's just the way God created it. So when a man's in the room, and like you said, you don't even. Troy doesn't have to say anything. Just being in the room is enough. I mean, when my kids are going crazy, me walking in the room, they knew it was about to be serious. I know for me, being a kid, my mom would threaten me. I just kind of laugh at her. My dad would say, "I'm like, or she would just say, "I'm gonna get your dad," or "He's gonna find out when you get home." That was it. So but that's the way God created the system to work. And so I think it's great to have men back there. So if you're a man watching this and you're like, "Hey, I don't know," just try it out. Give it a try. And but we have amazing kid space. Check-ins going amazing. Like I said, nursery, pre-K, all of it. And it's just there's also a sense of freedom to me in the worship center because I think the parents can trust and not wonder what's happening behind those walls.
Yeah.
I think parents, understand that our dream team that's serving in the kids area really are passionate about kids ministry and love kids, love families, and want to see your kids. We just want the best for your kids, and I've and we've said this before, but we believe that God's put a grace inside of people for ministry and a calling, and kids ministry is unique. And I think about Troy. You brought Troy Schuff up. He was serving on a different team. I think maybe even a couple of different teams, but God had been working in his heart to say, I'm drawing you to kids ministry. This is where you need to be. And it took him a while to kind of
to say yes.
Again, because of the unknown, but when he said yes and he's all in now and he's doing a great job. If God's put a grace in you and you think you might be called to kids ministry, say yes. Obedience looks like the word yes.
It's good. Yeah, I love our ministry. Any kind of closing thoughts or anything that you think the people, a parent might want to know, or somebody who's, and we do have some that just haven't brought their kids back there yet, and that's okay. But I'm going to tell you, they're going to love it. It's a safe, clean, fun environment.
I can honestly say there's no adult back there that is just there to fill a spot. They are there. They are happy. They are ready to go. For your child, and for you, So, I would just say bring them. Go ahead and bring them. Try. You can stand outside and look in through the screens if you want to. It's just it's well taken care of. We love them. We are not other people when we close those doors. We're still the same, and we love to be with kids.
For the parent for the family that brings their kids to kids church, your kids are going to have a much better church experience they're going to encounter Jesus on their level. They're going to enjoy it more, and you are going to enjoy it more
Yeah.
because you can focus on worship and receiving a word from the Lord without distraction.
Yeah.
Being in the worship center, there is. Well, yesterday we had, I don't even know, I don't try not to look to the area that it's coming from, but there was definitely some kids in one of the services, and I don't know whose it was or where it's coming from, but we have grace with that, but we also created a space for you and your family, for your kids to actually go learn about Jesus on their level, and that's what we keep saying.
It's
Let
not
us
just
teach them.
playtime, an hour of just playtime, wild play. It's structured to a point. And still the kids seem to love it, and across the board they seem to love it, no matter what age. They are, like I said, they're well taken care of.
Yeah,
Just try it 1 week.
and it's not just we're trying to get them out of the worship center. I mean,
Right.
it does help. If every kid, we've had family services before just because of. We went to one service for some, holiday or whatever. And so it's fun and when you create it that way, but it's not designed for kids. So that's why we created a space just for them. And so, we don't have kids space just to get them out of the worship center, but it is beneficial for them and for the adults to actually be able to. And when we have, we usually do baptism on the first Sunday of the month. And then we have a big huddle that same Sunday. And the reason is we want to let the teams know, big huddles for every team member serving that week. We want to let them know you are a part of this baptism. You're a part of it.
Yes.
And so if you teach in kids or you're a helper, every baptism, every soul that gets saved, every family that gets healed, all of that's because of you. And it's not just because I'm on the stage or Courtney's leading worship or a life group leader did something, our prayer team led them. That's all part of the process, but you're a big part of it too because you allowed them to be able to hear a word from the Lord. Yeah. And that's huge.
And it's true. If your kid is happy in church and they like it there, you're going to stay. It's more likely you're going to stay. And
well, that's a whole nother conversation that kids are picking the churches.
But hey,
their kids are picking, which is sad.
Yeah.
If you're letting your kid pick a church, lead your family. Okay, stop doing that. We've been having fun, but I'm gonna get serious for a second. Don't let your kids pick your church. Now, if you bring them here, they're gonna stay. So that's beneficial for us. But I'm gonna tell you, pick the church based on truth being taught and community. That's the biggest part.
And then the other side of the coin is if you have had a wonderful experience, the worship was great, the message was on point, you felt the Spirit there, but your kids crying the whole time. Babies are an exception because they have to go through that. But if your kids just really don't like it, what are you going to do? Mm-hmm. But if your kids really like it, that's just across the board win.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it's like, this is it.
And one of our core values is pursue excellence. And I just say we do that in every area of ministry. Mm-hmm. Every aspect of Sunday morning, we are pursuing excellence. And like you said, we're not creating that kid space just to get kids out of the worship center. We're intentional. And again, by picking the curriculum that we have
for them,
to say that if you bring your child every Sunday for 3 years, they're going to go through the entire Bible, God's word from start to finish. That's intentionality, and that's pursuing excellence. That's what we're doing in kids ministry because we love you, we love your family, and we want the best for you.
Yes.
That's good.
Yes.
Well, you guys have any closing thoughts or anything you want to say before we close out?
I do. Miss Sharon is amazing, and so thank you. I want to honor you. Thank you for what you do and what you bring to the table and to the ministry of WRC, and families that connect here. Do that in great degree because of you and your ministry and the gifts that God's given you. We love you. We're so thankful for you.
I appreciate that so much. Thank you. I'm so glad God gave me this opportunity. I wouldn't have gone hunting for it, but I'm so glad it was here.
Yeah. No, you're amazing. Everybody I talk to, and I say your name, like, oh, she's amazing. Whether that's a team member or a parent, and that's special.
Oh, that's good.
A team member or a parent or a kid. They just, we got some kids here that call you granny, which is, you're not really their granny, I don't think. But that's just special. The kids that you've babysat through the years or watched at your home or had the daycare, it's awesome. And, I don't think it's weird for my kids to call you granny and my grandkids, and then other kids that just met you last week are calling you granny. So it's special. You really do a great job, and we're honored to have you. And I've seen so much growth in you as a leader. You know, you've always had the kid thing, but even in leading your team, leading them well, having hard conversations, you've really done that well. Because that's the hard part of ministry.
Ooh.
It's hard to fire a volunteer. it's real hard. And not that we've had to fire anybody, but you have to have tough conversations with some people who just aren't cutting it, showing up late, consecutive, like all the time, or just not. They're just the culture's not there, and so you've done a great job leading that, keeping it healthy. We are pursuing excellence, and so I guess this podcast is I didn't sign up for this, but you kind of signed up for it. I gave you the option between keys and kids, and you picked kids, and so you did. So this podcast is I did sign up for kids.
Yeah. I'm just thinking back to the start. We talked about, that this being in the strip mall, what those kids spaces looked like, what the worship center looked like. Every step of the way over the last 13 years, almost, coming up on 14 years, every step of the way God has provided for us. And you need this. Okay, here you go. Yeah. And God has provided for us in a great way by bringing you here. So your giftings and your ability, and like Andy said, you've got the kid part down. You're one of the most youthful people that I know.
Yeah,
and,
that's right.
You just love being around kids, and it feels like it energizes you instead of drains you. But again, to see you grow as a leader and step into that role, and when we needed that person, it's like a no-brainer. Miss Sharon, she's the one for it, and so God's provided for us every step of the way, and He's done that with you.
Oh, thank you.
And I'll tell you a good example is you had to learn Word, Excel and Word and all. You had to learn some Word, which ain't really your thing, but you learned enough to get by. And of course, we got you some help, and Kristen's helping.
And now it's even easier.
Yeah, and now it's getting better. And so even the things that you weren't great at, you learned enough to get to the next level. And we love that about you. And we love the kids area. I just love seeing kids run around. And I think even for worship practice yesterday, there was like, I don't know,
5,
8.
maybe.
Wow, it felt like 20. And Tom was back there. So we actually watched kids for the band to practice, and just even our band. I mean, just the band alone, we got between band and production, worship and production, we got 6, 7 kids running around, which is awesome. And so they're here from 7 o'clock in the morning until after 12. Yeah. And so it's awesome to see the life happening. So we're excited that where God's taking us and where we're at, and He ain't done yet. Neither are we. So.
Amen.
All right. Well, thank you guys for tuning in. I'm glad that you checked us out. I don't know about you. I didn't sign up for being a pastor. Miss Sharon did sign up for kids. But we'll catch you guys on the next one.